Hi people, and back with another video. In this video we will be starting to learn the next data types in JavaScript. And in the previous lecture we have studied about string and all the forms of defining a string, right? With double quotes, single quotes and backticks. And so now let's begin quickly with the Boolean data type. And guys, I assume that you know the meaning of Boolean. So it accepts either true or false. That's it. So these are the two values which can be stored in a variable, or in an object. Or again guys, we have an object here, so don't be confused that with the thing. And guys, we are not, as of now we are not dealing with object, and I will not be explaining you that in this video because it has got lot of things to be explained. So I will be having a separate video to explain you guys all about objects. So we'll be just covering with only the 6 data types as of now. So now yeah, the Boolean, back to the coming to the Boolean, it accepts either true or false. So I'll just quickly do this console over here and I'll just say true. So now what do you mean by this? As you can see guys, the Sublime text identifies that this is a Boolean and hence it has given the color as a blue, right? So if I go to the browser, refresh, boom, we got the thing, right? So here also we can notice that a string is in the form of black color, but in the Boolean is in the blue color. I think you can identify that. So don't be confused with this and this, right? So similarly, we can have the next type in the next value in JavaScript, that is false. I'm sorry, yeah, it should be here. Yeah, false, and save this and come back to the browser and refresh that. So these are the guys, the things in Boolean. And guys, again, make sure that you should not give a double quotes for this. So now it became a string. It's a string now. So this false is way difference between this false. So this is a Boolean false and this is a string false. So you can notice that in the log also. See, this false is a Boolean which is in the blue color. Again, this is a string false, so you should not be messing up with that. And I think it is so simple, and that should be kept in mind. So yes guys, this is all about a Boolean data type in JavaScript. It is so simple, it either accepts true or false. So coming to the next data type in JavaScript, that is what we call it as a number. It's again guys, it's so simple, it's just like a number. And it has 4 things in this. So first we will be having some integer number, right? And secondly, we can store floating point number, and thirdly we can store something called as this. What do you mean by this? It's an infinity. And fourthly, we can store something called as this. Guys, again, these are all in JavaScript. So now we can have the number can be in the form of, I'm sorry, this is an integer number, right? Integer number, and the floating point number, and the infinity, and the NaN. So let me explain you that quickly over here, and I'll just say console.log. And if I just say 1 2 3, so now it is this is what we call it as an integer number. So similarly, if I have something called as 12.3, it now became a floating point number. So these two are different kind of thing, but it's constitute a single data type in JavaScript called as number. And thirdly guys, what is infinity? It is just like a mathematical infinity which we have studied, right, with the symbol like this infinity symbol. This is the same thing in JavaScript. So let me explain you that over here with this example over here. And I will just say yeah, instead of this I'll just say 100 divided by 0. Guys, can we do this mathematically? Of course not. It is an error. We can't divide a number by 0. So in JavaScript, if we do so, it throws an error. Just like arithmetic exception, arithmetic error, right? So it throws an error in JavaScript. Let me check with the JavaScript over here. As you can see, guys, it's showing me infinity. So don't be confused with that, guys. So if we do this in Java, not JavaScript, in Java it's an error. But in JavaScript, this 100 by 0 is not an error, it's an infinity. So it is also one of the thing that comes under number, right? So this is what we call it as infinity. So again, the fourth thing in number data type is we call it as NaN. It's an acronym of not a number. So not a number is what we call it as a NaN. So now what do you mean by not a number? So let me explain you that with this example, simple example over here, like console.log. I'll just say this is a string, right? So of course this is a string which is in the double quotes. So now what I will do, I'll just divide this string by some number. Guys, can we do this craziest thing? Dividing a string in a number by the number? Of course not. But let us see the error which it gives us. Of course, guys, it is not an error. So now it shows us NaN. It is not a number. So instead of giving us an error, this whole thing will be constituted as NaN. So this is what we call it as NaN in number. So yes guys, these are all the things that comes under number data type in JavaScript, and let's move ahead with the big int. So as I said earlier in the previous video, big int is an extension of number. So in number we can have a digits max up to, I'll just say max up to 2 raised to 53. So this is how we define in programming with this caps to indicate that this is 2 raised to 53, which again I guess it comes to with 16 digits, right? So we can store up to 16 digits in number data type. What if I want to store more than 16 digits in any one of those things? So in those scenarios, we will be using big int. So the big int indicates more than 16 digits. So we can store more than 16 digits, and the thing is, we should add small case n at the last. Just write it off here so that you'll have the reference of that at the last digit. So what do you mean by that? I will just explain you over here quickly. Over here I'll just say console.log, and then I'll just say have some big huge massive numbers over here. Of course it is more than 16 digits, right? So this is a number more than 16 digits. So now it is not a number data type, so we should be keep that in mind. So this becomes an big int. To indicate that this becomes an big int data type, we need to add a small n at the last to indicate that okay, yeah, this is a big int, a data type. So save this, come back to the browser, let me see what it prints. Guys, as you can see, it's printing in green color, right? So this is what we call it as a big integer in JavaScript. We usually don't use this massive kind of thing, more than 16 digits. So we usually use number, but in case of complex, cryptography, security thing, encryption, and those things, huge massive things, in those scenarios we use only this big integer. So it is a kind of less used data type in JavaScript. So this is all about big int. So coming to the null value, guys, again what we call it as null, it indicates no data type. I'll just say no data type. So this is what we call it as no data type. So if we want to have some, don't have some string, boolean or number or big int, we usually specify that as a number, as a null. So it indicates no data type, either it doesn't belong to any data type. I'll just say in console, I'll just say null. That's it. So this is what we call it as a null data type. So you have to make sure that, and it is printing in a gray color. So you should not be confused with this null, right? So null indicates no data type at all. It doesn't have any value in that. So coming to the last, guys, last data type in JavaScript, we call it as undefined. which means again, as the name indicates, it is not defined. The thing is not exists, right? So I'll just say is for undefined, I'll just say again, it is guys again, uh, yeah, undefined, it doesn't have anything. I'll just say no value, no, nothing, yeah, nothing. It's just like nothing. So if you want to store nothing, again guys, don't be confused with null. Null indicates no data type, undefined indicates nothing or it doesn't exist, right? It is not there. I'll just say not there. That's it. Yeah, not there. And I'll just do that with the help of the same thing over here in the console. Now I'll just say undefined. That's it. So if I go to the browser, refresh, you see undefined. So we get undefined if we are using a variable which is not defined. So we are not yet into the variables, but if you have some background knowledge of variables and all of those things, you will be getting to know what is undefined. It's so simple. It's not there, it doesn't exist. That's what we call it as undefined. And if we want to indicate that there is no data type, there is nothing, or it's just like an empty, we use null. And we have studied all of the rest of the data types in JavaScript. Guys, yes, so far we have learned all the in-depth about the data types in JavaScript. Don't be confused with all of those data types. So I suggest you to practice with all of these data types: string, boolean, number, being int, null, undefined, and we are just leaving off with object because we will be having an exclusive video to explain you guys about object. Yes, guys, this is all about the whole entire data types in JavaScript. I think I've explained you a lot of things in this video, and make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel. As I said, make sure you subscribe and also hit that bell button so that you will be notified whenever I come up with some new videos, courses or technology related videos. You will be notified. And also comment in the comment section below. Let me know your status and the progress and how this is going to work with you, and let me know if you have some questions. I'm glad to help you out. Yes guys, this is all about the data types in JavaScript, and see you in the next video.